Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, money never seems to be enough? Like you're always chasing after something that never quite arrives while the bills and expenses just keep piling up. If that feeling sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of people face this reality every day, working tirelessly to pay bills, accumulating debt, and struggling to see a real way out of this financial trap. But what if I told you that there's a way to break free from this cycle? What if you could turn the financial game in your favor, achieving stability, freedom, and most importantly, control over your money? Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has been teaching for decades what the rich know about money and what most people don't. He's demystified the traditional financial system and revealed that the real path to financial freedom isn't about working harder or earning a bigger paycheck. It's about changing the way you think and act when it comes to money. For Kiyosaki, financial education is the biggest game changer between those who build wealth and those who remain stuck in the rat race. From an early age, we're taught to follow a standard path: study hard, get a stable job, work hard, save money, and one day retire securely. But Kiyosaki challenges this mindset, arguing that this model was designed to benefit the system, not the individual. The rich don't follow this script. They understand money differently, as a tool to generate more money. They build assets, create sources of passive income, and make money work for them. If you want to escape the rat race and achieve financial freedom, you need to change your mindset and adopt a new approach to money. And that's exactly what Kiyosaki teaches with his 4 foolproof tips for turning the financial game in your favor. In this guide, we'll dive deep into each of these tips, with practical examples and insights to help you apply these strategies to your own life. Get ready to challenge everything you think you know about money and discover how to start building a solid path to financial independence. The game might be tough, but the rules aren't that complicated. You just need to learn how to play them to your advantage. The first tip from Robert Kiyosaki for turning the financial game around is educate yourself financially. This tip might sound simple, but it's one of the most overlooked. Most people spend years studying to earn a degree, but they rarely invest time in understanding how money works. Kiyosaki argues that this lack of financial education is the main reason so many people remain stuck in the rat race. They simply don't know how to make money work for them. Kiyosaki learned this lesson early on. His poor dad, his biological father, followed the traditional path. He studied, got a good job, and believed that financial security would come from a stable paycheck. But his rich dad, his friend's father and Kiyosaki's mentor, taught him a completely different approach. He showed that the key to building wealth wasn't working harder to earn more. It was about acquiring financial knowledge and learning how to invest strategically. Financial education goes far beyond understanding how a bank account works or how to create a budget. It's about grasping the concepts of assets and liabilities, one of the core pillars of Kiyosaki's philosophy. According to him, the rich buy assets, while the poor and middle class accumulate liabilities, thinking they're assets. But what's the difference? An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A rental property that generates income, dividend-paying stocks, or a profitable business are examples of assets. A liability, on the other hand, is something that takes money out of your pocket. A luxury car, a house you're still paying off through a mortgage, or credit card debt are classic examples of liabilities. The key to building wealth is simple: accumulate assets and avoid liabilities. The problem is that most people don't understand this difference. They buy an expensive car on credit and see it as a symbol of wealth, when in reality, they're creating a liability that drains their finances every month. The rich, on the other hand, invest in assets that generate passive income, and over time, they use that cash flow to buy more assets, creating a positive cycle of wealth generation. That's why Kiyosaki insists that financial education should be a top priority. He suggests that you dedicate time to learning about investments, business, taxation, and how the financial system works. Simply saving money or cutting expenses isn't enough. You need to learn how to play the money game strategically. And the best way to do that is by accumulating knowledge and putting it into practice. True wealth doesn't come from what you earn. It comes from what you keep and multiply. The rich understand this, which is why they dedicate time and energy to mastering the art of making money work for them. If you want to turn the financial game in your favor, the first step is simple but essential. Become a student of money. Robert Kiyosaki's second tip for turning the financial game around is equally powerful. Build assets that generate cash flow. According to Kiyosaki, this is the key difference between the rich and the poor. The rich don't rely on a paycheck to live, they build financial systems that generate income continuously, whether they're working or not. Most people believe that the path to financial stability is getting a good job and saving as much as possible. But the problem with this strategy is that it keeps you trapped in the cycle of trading time for money. Your salary is limited by the number of hours you work, and time is a finite resource. The rich, however, understand that the secret to building wealth is creating assets that generate passive income, money that flows into your pocket without the need for constant work. Kiyosaki explains that there are four main types of assets that generate cash flow. Real estate, buying rental properties, is one of the most traditional ways to generate cash flow. When you own a property that brings in more from rent than you spend on maintenance and taxes, you've created an asset that puts money in your pocket every month. Businesses, building or investing in a business that generates profit without your constant involvement is another powerful way to create passive income. The rich often invest in companies that produce ongoing profits and can be scaled without the need for their daily oversight. Stocks and funds, buying dividend-paying stocks, is an effective way to create effortless income. The wealthy build diversified stock portfolios that provide a steady stream of passive income through regular dividend payments. Intellectual property, royalties from books, music, patents, or digital content can generate continuous income over time. Kiyosaki gives the example of writers and artists who receive royalties for years after creating a piece of work. One of the biggest mistakes most people make is believing that their home is an asset. Kiyosaki is very clear on this. The house you live in is not an asset, it's a liability. Unless you rent out part of your house and it generates income, it's simply draining money from your pocket through mortgage payments, maintenance, taxes, and other costs. The rich build wealth by buying properties to rent out, while the middle class stays stuck in mortgages that eat up a large portion of their income. Building cash-flowing assets isn't something that happens overnight. It's a process that requires planning, discipline, and financial education. Kiyosaki recommends starting small, a modest rental property, a small investment in dividend-paying stocks, or even starting an online business. The important thing is to start directing your income toward assets that generate more income, creating a cycle of continuous growth. Another crucial point that Kiyosaki emphasizes is that positive cash flow is the key to financial freedom. When you have enough passive income to cover your monthly expenses, you're no longer forced to work just to survive. That's the moment when you truly achieve financial freedom, when your money works for you, not the other way around. So the second tip is clear. Don't work for money, build assets that make money for you. The key to turning the financial game in your favor is to create a steady flow of income that comes to you, without needing to trade your time for it. Robert Kiyosaki's third tip for turning the financial game around is perhaps the hardest for many people to put into practice. Learn to control your emotions about money. Kiyosaki explains that emotions are one of the biggest obstacles to building wealth, because they drive people to make poor financial decisions, especially when it comes to fear and greed. Fear is what stops most people from investing or taking calculated risks. It's the fear of losing money, of failing, of looking foolish in front of others. This fear stems from poor financial education, which teaches that security is more important than growth. Kiyosaki says that many people prefer to keep their money in a savings account, which barely earns any interest, rather than investing in more profitable assets because their fear of loss is greater than their desire for financial growth. On the other hand, greed can be just as dangerous. When people make quick money, they often want more, and this reckless pursuit of profit can lead to impulsive, poorly thought-out decisions. That's why so many people fall for financial scams, pyramid schemes, and high-risk investments without analyzing the fundamentals behind these opportunities. The combination of fear and greed creates a destructive emotional cycle where people buy assets when prices are high, sell when prices drop, and then repeat the same mistake over and over. Kiyosaki uses a simple example to illustrate this point. Imagine two people who bought stocks in the market. The first person invested after doing thorough research, understanding the company's fundamentals, and planning to hold the investment for years. The second person bought stocks because a friend said, "It's making a lot of money right now." When the market dropped, the first person held their position and waited for the recovery, while the second panicked and sold at a loss. This behavior stems from fear and lack of financial education. The secret, according to Kiyosaki, is to learn how to make rational, not emotional, decisions about money. This requires emotional intelligence and confidence in your financial knowledge. He recommends 3 strategies to help control your emotions and make better financial decisions. Create a clear financial plan. When you have a well-defined financial plan with clear goals, timelines, and strategies, it's easier to stay focused and avoid being swayed by market emotions or other people's opinions. Accept that losses are part of the game. Kiyosaki says that losing money is inevitable in any financial journey. The key is to learn from your mistakes and adjust your strategy instead of panicking or giving up. Surround yourself with financially minded people. Being surrounded by people who understand money and make rational decisions can help you stay focused and calm during times of uncertainty. Kiyosaki often emphasizes the importance of having mentors and strategic partners who share a similar vision about wealth and investments. One of Kiyosaki's most famous quotes is, "Financial intelligence consists of 4 key skills: accounting, investing, markets, and law." But he also adds that none of these skills will be useful if you don't learn to control your emotions. The rich dominate the financial game because they understand that money is a tool, not a source of emotion. They don't get overly excited when they win, nor do they panic when they lose. They simply adjust their strategy and keep moving forward. Learning to control your emotions about money is what separates amateur investors from professional ones. Professionals focus on the fundamentals, while amateurs react to every market swing. If you want to turn the financial game in your favor, you need to learn to act with your head, not your heart, when it comes to money. Robert Kiyosaki's 4th and final tip for turning the financial game around is the one that truly cements the path to financial freedom. Use the power of leverage. Kiyosaki teaches that the rich build their wealth not just with the money they have, but primarily with other people's money, and that's what allows them to grow exponentially. Leverage is a powerful financial concept, but many people approach it with caution because they associate it with the idea of taking on debt. However, Kiyosaki explains that there is a fundamental difference between good debt and bad debt, and understanding this distinction is what separates the rich from the poor. Bad debt is debt that takes money out of your pocket. A car loan, credit card debt, or a personal loan to cover everyday expenses are classic examples of bad debt. They don't generate financial returns. Instead, they drain your income every month through interest payments and installments. Good debt, on the other hand, is debt that puts money in your pocket. A simple example is using financing to buy a rental property that, after covering the mortgage and expenses, still generates a monthly profit. Kiyosaki explains that the rich are not afraid to take on good debt because they understand that leverage allows them to acquire assets that will continue to generate cash flow. The rich use other people's money, OPM, to accelerate wealth building. They finance investments using bank loans, investor capital, or strategic partnerships, and then use the returns from these investments to repay the debt and generate profits. This creates a cycle of growth where the assets they acquire produce enough income to cover the debt and generate additional wealth. For example, imagine you take out a loan to buy an apartment complex. After covering the mortgage and maintenance costs, you're left with a positive cash flow each month. Over time, the property value increases, rents go up, and you can use the profits to buy more properties, creating a snowball effect of growing wealth. That's the power of leverage in action. Kiyosaki stresses that leverage is not about reckless borrowing. It's about smart, calculated use of debt to acquire assets that generate ongoing income. The middle class avoids debt out of fear, while the rich embrace it as a strategic tool for building wealth. So the 4th tip is clear: learn to use leverage strategically. Don't be afraid of debt. Just make sure it's working for you, not against you. When you master the art of leverage, you unlock the potential for exponential financial growth. To illustrate this point, Kiyosaki often shares a story about a real estate investment he made early in his career. He bought a small property using a bank loan. After renovating the property, he rented it out for an amount that covered the loan payment and still generated a monthly profit. The bank provided the initial capital, but it was Kiyosaki who reaped the rewards. That's the power of leverage, using other people's money to create an asset that generates constant cash flow. But leverage isn't limited to just debt. Kiyosaki teaches that there are other equally powerful types of leverage. Leverage of time. The rich hire skilled people to manage their businesses and investments, allowing them to multiply their results without needing to be personally involved in every detail. Instead of working harder, they work smarter by outsourcing and delegating. Leverage of knowledge. The rich surround themselves with experts, accountants, lawyers, investment advisors to make more informed and strategic decisions. They understand that they don't need to have all the answers themselves, as long as they have access to the right people. Leverage of network. Building a network of influential and successful people allows the rich to access better business opportunities, investments, and partnerships. The famous saying, "Your value is the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with," reflects this principle of social leverage. Successful people know that relationships open doors to new possibilities and greater wealth. Kiyosaki argues that the biggest mistake the middle class makes is trying to do everything alone. People work hard to earn money, save what they can, invest cautiously, and avoid debt at all costs. But the rich do the exact opposite. They use the bank's money, other people's time and knowledge, and the power of their network to multiply their wealth. They know that it's nearly impossible to get rich solely through personal effort. You need to leverage external resources to create exponential wealth. The key is not just working hard, it's working smart by leveraging money, time, knowledge, and relationships to accelerate your financial growth. When you master the art of leverage, you unlock the ability to build wealth faster and more efficiently than you ever could on your own. To apply this tip in practice, Kiyosaki suggests 3 simple steps. Identify leverage opportunities. If you have a good credit score, use it to finance an investment property or a business. If you have free time, use it to develop new skills that can be monetized. Look for ways to leverage the resources you already have, whether it's capital, time, or expertise, to create new income streams. Seek out mentors and experts. Find people who have already succeeded in what you want to achieve and learn from them. Hire professionals to guide you in areas where you lack knowledge. Successful people understand that paying for expert advice is an investment, not an expense. Multiply your results. Once you've built a system that generates passive income, reinvest the profits to acquire more assets and scale your earnings. This is how the rich turn a single income stream into a financial empire. Use the returns from one asset to fund the next, creating a cycle of growth and wealth accumulation. Kiyosaki always says that the secret to becoming rich isn't working harder, it's learning how to use the power of leverage intelligently. The rich aren't afraid to use other people's money because they know how to turn that leverage into a strategic advantage. And that's the fundamental difference between those who work for money and those who make money work for them. Leverage is the ultimate wealth multiplier. If you understand how to use it to your advantage, you can accelerate your path to financial freedom in a way you could never achieve through personal effort alone. As Kiyosaki says, it's not how much you earn that makes you rich, it's how much you multiply.